We're here today talking about the controls of a Class 3 mobility scooter. We're back filming in a local outlet. So Tracy, back again. Class 3 machine, 8 mile an hour. Can you please talk about the things that I should be knowing about, such as the controls, and starting with the seat?
Well, this particular scooter's got a sliding mechanism on the seat, so you can actually get closer to your controls.
Okay.
Okay.
I notice also that this particular model's got a seat belt, Tracy.
Yeah, it comes as standard on this particular model, but if people are feeling a little bit insecure, then we can actually add one as an optional extra to any mobility scooters.
Okay, right. Well, if I had a problem with my neck and I couldn't turn particularly very far around, and before setting off on a journey, I wanted to ensure that there was nothing behind me. I see that this one's got 2 large mirrors, which is excellent, but is there anything else that could help?
That's right, yeah, it's got 2 mirrors, quite adjustable, so you can adjust them to your size and your height. It's also got the mechanism on the seat where you can actually rotate the seat to have a look behind you before you set off. First thing to notice is there's a lever here which you can actually adjust.
I see.
The steering column closer or further away. So I'll pop it just there. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that feels fine.
Okay. So now you're comfortable, I'll talk you through controls. This particular machine, as we've discussed earlier, is a Class 3 mobility scooter, which means it does 8 mile an hour. On this particular machine, you've got an emergency handbrake. So Class 3 machines come with an emergency handbrake.
So that's the small lever on the left-hand side?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
It's also got an 8 mile an hour button, which is under there, which takes it from high to low.
Okay.
So basically what you do is, in its low position, it's ideal for pavements. In its high position, then it can be used on the road.
So if I was coming off the road onto a pavement, I must switch that switch to 4 mile an hour?
That's right, yeah. So you switch it into 4 mile an hour, but you can also further adjust the speed by using the speed control here. If you see just here, it's denoted by a tortoise and an air. So what you're doing is you're setting the maximum speed here and just here. Now, when we talk about setting maximum speed, what you've got here are 2 thumb controls. So we term that in trade a wigwag. So when you pull the wigwag, it's basically what you're doing, it's like accelerator on a car. So the more you pull it, the faster it'll go to the maximum speed you set here and here.
I see. So this right-hand lever known as a wigwab, if I pull that towards me,
yeah,
that's going forward.
Okay, yep.
And I'm assuming then that the lever, the left-hand side, if I pull that towards me, that's reverse.
That's correct, yeah. It can be altered round if you were left or right-handed, or if you'd had a stroke or you're having trouble with one side of your body.
Okay, Tracy, I've got the gist of this wigwag, and the button here to turn it down to 4 mile an hour, which I must do when going onto a pavement from the road. I noticed there's an array of different buttons here as well, and from what I see here, it's got indicators and different lighting. Can you talk me through these, please?
Yeah, of course I can. Yeah, this is we're in a Class 3 machine. It's got a full lighting package on it as standard. So what you've got here, let me just turn ignition key on here, and then you better see things light up. So what you've got flashing here is a battery level indicator to start with. It's quite important. It tells you at a minute that one's right up in green. As the further you travel, the lights go out, and it tells you what sort of range that you've got left.
So that's indicating as the lights go down, that's the charge being used up.
That's right, yeah. Then what you've got here, you've got headlights. You can see those.
Yep.
You've got hazard warnings. It's got an on, which is not too bad for this particular machine. They're usually very quiet. And then it's got indicators, as you pointed out earlier. So that's your left indicator, that's your right, and just press that one in the middle and it turns them off.
We're on location here at the LifeWise Centre in South Yorkshire. Tracy's been kind enough to fetch along a Class 2 4 mile an hour machine. So Tracy, can you start talking about the controls of this particular machine, perhaps starting with the seat?
I'll just show you some of the adjustments that are available with this particular machine. It is a Class 2 4 mile an hour scooter. Just here, the seat adjusts round for ease of access. The armrests
both of them.
Yeah, that's right. Both of those lift up. When you move actually onto the scooter, there's adjustment in the seat as well, so it slides backwards and forwards.
So that's just to get yourself comfortable when you're on the machine?
That's right, yeah. And if you combine that with the adjustment in the steering column here, you can actually adjust the tiller closer or further away, so that you're sat comfortable and in control of the machine.
So we've covered the seat on this 4 mile an hour Class 2 machine. What about the controls?
Yeah, as you can see, Andy, this has got quite a basic layout. It's got a delta handlebar as opposed to the straight handlebars. It gives you more options for your hands.
I see.
In terms of controls, you can use your fingers or your thumbs. They're a little bit more comfortable for longer journeys. This particular machine, I'll go for the battery level gauge here. When I turn the machine on, you can actually see the lights light up just there, telling you that the battery's fully charged. Turn it off again. This is the ignition key. It's got a little cover on it to keep rain out of the ignition barrel. You've got a speed control here, denoted by a tortoise and an air. It's also got a button there, which is a basic lighting kit on this particular machine. It's got on button left and right, depending on which hand you are. They're not very loud.
So this machine, although it's got a small front light, it doesn't come with indicators or other additional things like hazard warning lights, for instance?
No, it's just got a basic lighting kit on this particular machine. We've been a Class 2 machine. It's for pavement use. I know you know, Chris, because you've been in this power chair quite a few years. But if you notice, controls on this are completely different to those on a scooter. You've got your on-off switch and your battery level gauge, and you've got your speed control up and down, pressing these buttons, and then you've got your forward reverse joystick, whichever direction you point it, that's where your power chair moves.